why any child would be listening to that. And the only part I knew was that werewolf. That's all I knew. And I just did it like for hours on end until my mom was like, "Can you shut up?"
Back in business. We are the Boys Review. Give us like and subscribe. If you guys like our content, you guys can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. We try to do an upload every week, or well, 1 or 2 uploads every week if we're good. Yeah, it's been a busy few weeks, but we're back to cover this time a classic album, Excitable Boy by Warren Zevon.
Oh yeah,
here we go.
Just in time for the Halloween season.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I was like, this would be really appropriate because it's a bit of a spooky album.
Yep, it's very cartoony and ghoulish and like
I think very dark. Like it has very like popular sounding, like it's like very happy, some of it, but it's really dark.
Yeah, I love it. It's this cool juxtaposition of like overproduced 70s radio music.
Yeah.
This like crotchety old sounding misanthrope guy on a piano singing about like werewolves and serial killers
and headless gunners
and Thompson gunners.
The
Russian mob. Like it's wild. It's crazy. I love it.
It's like every song in the album seems to tell a story. And that's why I'm glad that we're doing this together, because I don't know the backstory behind every song. So each one we go through, we'll be able to cover it. But I guess where do we start? I mean, it's been, how many years ago did we hear this album? Like
I have a big history with it. I mean, not a huge long history with it, but Werewolves of London, that's the one everyone knows on this album.
Because Kid Rock took it and
ever got. That song is one of the first songs I ever heard in my life. Like it's one of
really
it's my favorite, one of my favorite songs. I heard it when I was like 4 or 3 or 4 or 5.
Okay
I don't know why any child would be listening to that. And the only part I knew was that werewolf. That's all I knew, and I just did it like for hours on end until my mom was like, "Can you shut up?" You're like, I like that you like this, but like it's been 3 hours.
Like you're cute, but not really,
And that was the only song I heard from Warren Zevon for like 20 years. And then when I was in like college, I don't know how I found him, but I did. I don't know. You know, when you go on YouTube and you get lost down this like, rabbit hole, I ended up watching like David Letterman clips, and he used to have Warren Zevon on all the time. And I was like, that's the Werewolves of London guy. And then I just looked up all the songs and they're like, oh, they're all so weird. This is amazing. So yeah, I love this album.
It's a pretty weird album. I mean, I didn't get it. Like, I don't know what it was. Kind of just came into my life because you were listening to it. And ever since I heard it, like, it's like normally you hear a song and you're like, I don't know if I like this album, but this I never disliked any song. It's just every song is pretty good for me. And
I would say that there's like 1 or 2 that are like not as good as the others. The other ones are so good that I kind of don't care. That's like very rare.
Me too. It's just such a great album that flows super well, and I definitely hear it's like there's the generic rock sound.
Yeah, it's produced by Jackson Brown. You know who Jackson Brown is?
Yeah,
he's like he's from like that LA scene, and there's tons of like Stevie Nicks is on this album. Linda Ronstadt's on this album.
Linda Ronstadt?
Yeah.
It's true. You mean for writing?
No, as for singing. Like they're backing vocals. You can hear
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm not in this album, but sometimes I think in the first album, Don Henley was there. Like, so it's all these like
everybody's been there, yeah.
Really overproduced, like LA folk rock music.
Yeah.
But then Warren Zevon's there, and he's not like that at all.
No.
But I
Wow.
like that. Some people don't like that about the album. They're like, oh, it's overproduced. Like I would have liked to have heard it like grittier. But I
Hmm.
think that's what makes it work for me is that it sounds really polished,
Hmm.
but it's just this creepy sounding guy just
I
in the
know.
background making wisecracks. And I love it.
Well, I
It's
love the
so
way it opens, right? It's Johnny strikes up the band.
yeah, yeah. Supposedly I read that this was supposed to be like this is the one he wanted as a single, not Werewolves of London. He was like, this is a pop song. And they were
Yeah.
like, no, we want the Werewolves one.
It was more funny because you had a bandmate named Johnny
They did.
and
Still do. Still play with
you still play with Johnny. Oh
Luke.
yeah, you do exactly. You still play with Johnny and Luth.
He doesn't play drums
And
anymore, but
so
like,
oh yeah, it's true. It's my drums anymore. But it was like,
yeah.
well, Johnny, there you go, strikes up the band. For me, I remember hearing it being like, this sounds like Sean. There's something very
Yeah.
authentically Sean about it.
There's something like upbeat, but there's like something downtrodden about it. So you kind of
Uh,
feel like, this band's going nowhere. Like they're striking up the band, but they're gonna go down.
yeah. There's kind of a sad feeling to it. I kind
Yeah,
of hear
something
it.
melancholic about it.
Hmm.
I also used to think it was about Johnny Carson for some reason.
Could be.
It's like when Johnny strikes up the
Oh,
band,
man,
like
Johnny's drink.
I think that's anyway. It's not one of the darker songs, but it works. It's like a good intro. It's like here we
Yeah.
go, we're the band. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It's a great intro. I agree. I just love that opening guitar riff, the little solo.
Yeah,
I
what's
want
his
to
name?
learn that.
Wally Waddell or whatever. That guy's awesome.
David
He,
Lindell, is that it? No,
Wa-
no, sorry, Wally Woodell.
no,
Not that's the writer.
David.
Whoops. Oh my God, you're right. Linda Ronstadt is in this album. Okay, we'll go through the additional personnel later, but
Yeah, it's crazy.
so they got Roland the Headless Thompson Gunner. There he sounds like a really disgruntled old misanthrope.
I love this song. Is so weird. It
It's
is
so
probably
good
one of
though.
the weirdest songs I've ever heard.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's supposed to be like it's supposed to be making fun of like foreign policy and
Yeah.
like the 70s American foreign policy. But it also just works as like a silly, ghoulish song about a guy who like gets killed and goes on a revenge spree as a ghost.
Yeah.
Like, it's really bizarre.
It's really, really weird. I
And then
know. It's
there's
a
like a
really eerie
reference to
song.
Patty Hearst in there, and like no, that's the one. There's a few dated things about this album. Patty Hearst is one of them. Like no one knows who that is anymore. Like I'm sorry. So it's
Yeah.
like this weird punchline that doesn't really land. It's like cool. Patty Hearst has a gun. Like I don't know, it's not that great. But
It's like, okay, it says here Roland, a Norwegian who becomes embroiled in the aftermath of the Nigerian Civil War and the Congo crisis.
yeah,
And then it was corresponding to a mercenary by the Kisangi. This is so weird. And then becomes a Thompson gunner. So it's a Tommy gun, basically.
yeah,
And he attracts reputation to the CIA. He's betrayed by another mercenary who blows off his head and becomes a headless Thompson. So this is what it's about. Okay, this is really interesting.
I mean
Catches
it's
Van Owen
all
in
there.
Mombasa bar.
Yeah.
Everyone wandered through the night. I actually thought it was like true for some reason.
No, what? How could it be true? He becomes a ghost and he kills everybody. It'd make a great movie though.
I agree.
It would make a cool movie.
Rolling the headless. It's great. And then he's in Ireland, Lebanon, Palestine, Berkeley, California.
I think
It's
it's like it's summing up like all the big like, which is
world
kind of
conflict.
like big violence.
Where all the conflict is around the world, where the
all because
U.S.
of
is
roles.
involved. Yeah, exactly. No, it's great. I just love the backing vocals in it.
Yeah, rolling.
In the dumps and talking about the man.
Man, yeah. Yeah.
Let me go into Excitable Boy, and this
Oh,
is a
yeah.
really dark one. It's
This
a
one's
happy tone, but it's not
crazy.
happy. It's really dark.
I love it. It's
Too.
so messed up. This is the one. This is the one with Linda Ronstadt and Stevie Nicks. They're doing the background. They're doing the ooh, excitable boy.
Yeah.
You know?
It's so catchy. Oh my God, I love it.
It's such a good song. It honestly is a song that has not aged. Like it's just as effective now.
Yeah.
It's all about like the whole idea of boys will be boys.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, oh, he's just kind of weird. Like, you know, he rubs dinner on himself and he bites like the usherette. in the dark at the movie theater. Like he's just, he's just a guy. That's what guys do. And then eventually he ends up assaulting his prom date and then kills her.
Mm-hmm.
And then later on it gets even, and here's the crazy part about this song is you think that would be it. That would be as dark as it gets, but it gets worse.
Yeah.
It digs her up and then makes a cage with her bones. Like that's so messed up.
Oh.
And it's set to the like most upbeat music ever. It's, oh my god.
I know.
I used to like play this when we used to lifeguard at the pool.
Mm-hmm.
I used to play this on the speaker and see if anyone would notice the lyrics. And no one did because they were so happy.
Really? Like, that's crazy. The lyrics are so dark.
No, they're really messed up.
Says everything that he does in there. Like nobody noticed that.
Uncomfortable. And I feel it would never happen. It would get canceled so hard.
Oh, for sure.
Even though like it's supposed to be satire. It's making fun of these it's making fun. It's not.
It's supposed to be satire. No, exactly. It doesn't condone those. It's just a story.
It's making fun of society for letting these people get this bad.
Exactly.
Also, fun fact: the opening part where he's saying he rubbed a pot roast all over his chest. Warren Zevon actually did that, which is really weird. Which I think is telling because it's kind of like saying that he himself is borderline like an excitable boy, like he's a little bit messed up. And that's kind of what makes Warren Zevon work for me is that like ultimately he's a sympathetic character or personality, but he's very clearly messed up. Like identifies with these people. So yeah.
Well, that's it. Like also I think it's a testament to how talented he is as a musician because he's obviously a very talented pianist and he can just take these stories and just he knows I don't know, he's just he like molds, like he mixes the music and the lyrics together like super well, you know?
He always plays with contrast and juxtaposition and like
exactly. He has a really good ear for where things should go in a song. There's a lot of tone in his music, which is what I really like about him. And that's why, like it's crazy. This is like his most well-known album because he's done a lot of great albums. He's a really talented musician.
It's also kind of weird because it's by far the most cartoonishly violent album. And yet somehow it was his biggest hit. It makes no sense. I do like his other albums. I highly recommend like checking them out. They're a little more like self-deprecating and full of like LA and booze hounds and like, drug addiction. It's a little more like, but in a weirdly dark comedic way. Like, anyway, let's move on.
Move on to Werewolves of London, which is
everyone's heard this song.
Everyone knows this one. You know how I first heard it? I heard it through Kid Rock.
No, I hate that song.
I know.
I don't.
I'm ashamed to admit it. I heard it. It was the one mixing Sweet Home Alabama and Werewolves of London. But this song is obviously way, 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 way better. Now, Kid Rock.
Yeah, I really like it. I know everyone's like, oh, it's Warren Zevon fans are always like, no, it's just not his best because it was his hit or whatever.
I love it. It's so good.
I get it. It's literally just the same riff over and over again. And he's just telling a story about werewolves. Either that or they're like these weird, hairy, like hipsters or something in London. I don't really know.
I don't really know either. It's weird.
Supposedly they just made it up on the spot. They were just like, okay, we're gonna make this funny song about werewolves. But it works. Like I love the imagery. I love the performance. I love the jokes.
I know. I love the ending where he's like he just lets it this weird little like whimper at the end.
His hair was perfect. Yep.
Yeah. I know, it's so good. It's super catchy. It's like I just love the piano work on it, especially.
Yeah, it sounds
and the guitar work too. And
yeah, I get why it was a hit. It's very like it's a bit of a novelty, but I don't know, it's like a Halloween classic. There's not many of those. So.
Oh yeah, no, it's for sure. It's relevant for the month of October, especially. And then we got Accidentally Like a Martyr. That's one of the low key
Yeah, I would
songs.
say it comes dangerously close to being cheesy.
Mhm.
And I would say the production, this is where it doesn't do it favors.
Mhm.
It was less sappy, like it was less glossy. I think it would be better. Lyrically, though, I actually like it, and like it's a bit of a guilty pleasure for me. I actually think it's a pretty decent song.
Mhm.
He has songs where he's a little bit like the loser in love, like this sad sack who
Mhm.
self-destructive in relationships. So I mean, this checks out. I think
Mhm.
Bob Dylan said he liked this song. So
It's got a Bob Dylan-esque
yeah, I could see Bob Dylan
vibe to it.
Nashville skyline era.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, production's a little cheese. And it's weird, it doesn't really work. Like after all the werewolves and stuff, like I don't know. It doesn't, maybe not the best track listing placement, I would say, but
It's
I still like it. I still think it's
I know it's kind of weird. It's like the whole album's like upbeat, and then you get to Accident Like a Martyr. But it's kind of, for me, that's what I liked about it. It's a little bit more low key than
yeah,
it is
change of
compared to the
pace.
rest of the album. Nice little change of pace. And then moving to side two, where you got Nighttime and the Switching Art. This song is hilarious.
It's
I don't know what it's about, but I thought it was just about a train and the
I don't
what
know.
it's about.
It's kind of uncomfortable. I don't It's catchy, but I don't think it's good. Like
I
Warren
just think it's
Zevon should
hilarious.
not be doing funk. Like or
It's trying way that's it. I was listening to this morning. I was like, man, this is just trying way too hard to be funk.
yeah, it's catchy, but oof. Warren Zevon. No, Warren. It
No.
sounds like your uncle trying to
Yeah.
trying to join you out for a night on the town. It's just like,
Oh.
oh, no, thanks.
No. I know. No, it's a little too on the nose. It's just like,
Those
and especially
backing.
the part where he's like, do that, do that, do that, do that.
Listen to the train whistle. Rah! Do that, do that, do that,
It's
do
that
that.
bass line. It was like dun, 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 dun.
Oh, and it's this really like dated synthesizer. It's like
I don't know.
sounds like Mission Impossible. It's like, ugh.
I know it kind of does. It's easily one of the weaker
Yeah, it definitely.
songs on the album.
The one thing that maybe stops me from making this an absolute masterpiece of an album is just like I can't ignore that song.
I know, me too. Every time I listen to this album, I'm like, oh no, why is this on here?
Yeah.
It's just it's a little too on the nose. Like I said, it's a little trying a little too hard to be funk, but that part at the end is hilarious. Like the back,
Yeah.
it's the vocal harmonies, and it just keeps going too.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like I don't know. I'm like, are they doing drugs in the switching yard? Like, what's going on?
Like, what is going on? I kind of want to look it up and see Nighttime in the
Anyway,
Switching Yard
it's not
song
great.
meeting. I don't know if we're full yet much. Nighttime in the Switching. It could just be him singing about the train yard. I'm not sure. Song meetings.
No, I don't know.
No. Let's see. This is really funny. Someone just says not his best song.
No, definitely very weak.
Supposedly, oh, this is a little dark. Okay. Supposedly it's about drugs as well.
Okay,
Maybe.
I mean, you know what? Now it does sound like drugs. It sounds like someone like
It sounds like someone on drugs. It could
not
very
like
well be
that.
about drugs.
It sounds really lame. Like the lame
All right. Well, then the
construction
next
worker.
one is Veracruz.
I
What
like
is
this
it?
one.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel dumb when I listen to it because I've heard it so many times and I still don't really understand it.
Yeah.
I know it is actually about oh god, I have no idea. It's something with I want to say like Mexican politics. I don't understand. I feel really bad, but I'm not very well versed in history. So
I'm not really sure either.
I thought you would know because you're like into that stuff.
I am, but like I can't. I'm gonna look this up actually. Veracruz. It sounds like it would be a political event in the 70s, but I don't know if
Yeah.
it's.
Okay. It's based on
Oh yes,
U.S. occupation of Veracruz in 1914.
1914. That's it.
Response to Tampico
The
affair. Like
Tampico
that's
affair,
so specific.
Mexican Revolution,
Mexican Revolution. I think it's yeah. I think it's about like Americans.
American
You know,
imperialism.
yeah, Americans not knowing when to get out.
When to get out of something, right? Yeah, I know. No, it makes sense.
It's kind of pointing out that like even in 1914, Americans were still like nothing has changed,
No,
and that's
exactly.
still true. So Veracruz actually is dated very well.
Well, it also came out. This album was released, I think, around the time when the Vietnam War was. I don't know. Did it end just before that,
Yeah,
or
it was over by then.
I think
But
it was
like
over by 75
most
or
of the
something.
70s kind of stink of like post Vietnam.
The post Vietnam War, just
That's
like
why
a
I like
long.
70s music because it's so like I don't know, it's very grimy, gritty, and like
Hmm.
there's something sad about it because it's like, oh, all our idealism is gone. What we, we believed in all this optimism and now it's gone. Um,
Well, especially during that era, because it was very much during the Cold War, right?
yeah,
It was like, you think that after the Second World War ended, it was like, we find some peace, but the world just still a bad place in the 70s and would continue to be a bad place. And yeah, I think you can hear that in this album for sure. Veracruz, Tennis on the Block is another excellent song.
yeah, I like it. It's yeah, Borders comes very close to being cheesy, but it's so catchy and so infectious that I love it.
Yeah.
Uh, it's it lacks that like Warren Zevon cynicism and wit. It's actually very optimistic. It's weird. It's kind of weird though. It's like a 30-year-old man singing about like I don't know, a blossoming young woman. It's a little strange. It's a little
It's a
maybe
little
that's
strange.
darkness in there, but it's a little yeah, it's a little weird. But it sounds very earnest. Um, and I don't feel that it doesn't feel creepy. But
I
yeah,
know.
just catchy. It's just a catchy song.
Just a catchy song. Yeah, I can't tell if it's like for me, like Tennis on the Block and Lawyers, Guns, and Money kind of blend into one another, but they're still
Oh
very
no, man!
different.
Lawyers, Guns,
They're
and
way
Money.
different.
Probably my second favorite song.
Oh,
Maybe
it's
even my
so good.
favorite song on this album. I
I
love
think
that.
so too. I had
The riff is so good.
Werewolves of London and then Lawyers, Guns, and Money. The second one, it's so good. I love it's like
My
well,
favorite.
Tenors on the Block reminds me a bit of I can't say it reminds me of Accidentally Like a Martyr. Accidentally Like a Martyr is more like
No,
low
I see
key.
that. They're both like on the poppier side of things.
Yeah.
But oh, Lawyers, Guns, and Money. It's so good.
I know. I just love that stomping like piano,
The
like dun,
riff
dun,
is
dun,
the
dun, dun,
chorus, basically.
dun.
Like that's the hook, and it's so good. And it just sounds so. It sounds like a Shaggy Dog story. It's
Yeah.
so.
Just-
Just like the way it starts. He's just like, I went home with a waitress the way I always do. How was I to know she was with Russians too? Like, that's so weird. And oddly enough, it's kind of biographical. His dad was actually had Russian mob ties.
yeah.
Um, so there's a line where he's like, "Dad, get me out of this." He's actually referring to his own dad. So
Oh,
yeah,
that makes
yeah.
sense. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's true.
It's
Yeah,
great.
his dad
There's
was
no
all the
real
mob.
resolution to this. You don't know if he ever gets saved or if his dad ever helps him out, but it's just it evokes Warren Zevon just being like kidnapped in the middle of like Russia somewhere, just being like, what did I do?
Yeah.
Not have gone home with that waitress. Like it's just very self-deprecating. I love it.
I know. I think it's just also his look where it's like you just see this guy with glasses. The cover. The cover is hilarious. He just looks like kind of guy who would get himself into trouble, but he's also just like he's alive to tell the story,
He's like this nerdy,
Nerdy looking dude.
nerdy looking dude with like this dark side. Like he looks nerdy, but you also just would not you'd be scared to like walk past him in all alley, you know.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
like
yeah, no, exactly. He
you have
looks
to go.
like a grandfather who, although he just looks like a cantankerous, not a cantankerous, but he's more like you said, a misanthrope. But it's like, do not want to mess this guy. He's got some like grandpa's got some serious stories. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I love about him though. I think he has like it's that duality of him. He's like deep down you feel like maybe Warren Zevon's like a romantic. Like he has songs that suggest he's a little more optimistic than he lets on. But then
Mhm.
like he has that other side that just like completely he's just a self-destructive person.
Mhm.
And that just comes out. And it's so honest. Like it's not a put on. You like as ridiculous as these songs are, they still feel really honest. Like they feel like legitimate. Like I
Mhm.
feel they feel real, which
Yeah,
is super cool.
that's it. They're super. I wasn't they're like relatable. Like you can't won't go through these things, but for me, it's just they tell such incredible stories and like I don't know. It's just like the imagination. Like I can't again. Some of them like there's some truth to some of them. Some of them there isn't, but it's like every song is just it's just pretty just flows super well from one to the other. Like
Yeah.
I mean again even the weakest song of this album I don't even dislike that much except like Nighttime in the Switching Yard is good for a laugh for me, but
Yeah. It's not bad,
not
bad.
bad.
Not it's clearly the weakest.
It's clearly the weakest one. I think my underrated favorite's got to be well, okay, obviously Lawyers, Guns, and Money, but Rollin' the Headless Thompson Gunner is great. I love that song.
Yeah, it's pretty unique. I don't know. I like it. I like the whole thing.
Yeah,
Um, and I think his album before this is my favorite. I think it's flawless, but this one is it's just so yeah. It has so many It's so many stories. It's like a bunch of short stories.
I know, and it's exciting too because I feel like piano rock after a while. As much as I love piano rock, we hear guys like Elton John and Warren Zevon. Like, I can feel like the same thing after a while. He's a lot of balladry,
Yeah, you
and
should check it out. He has a live album where there's no piano, like he just plays guitar, and
yeah,
it adds like a little bit more of a rockin' vibe to all of these songs.
hmm no,
Um,
it's great.
but I don't know. I like the piano
No, me too.
for a guy on a piano.
I mean the Werewolves of London like piano riff
I should
is
say a
so
guy on a piano.
iconic.
It's a disgruntled, misanthropic drunk.
A disgruntled misanthropic drunk piano player.
I'm a sucker. It's the
I
kind of
wish
thing you only see in the 70s. It's just when
I know, I know. You kind of
don't
wish
get
you
it.
could see him live. I know he passed away about like almost 20 years ago, but you wish you could see him live. I feel like that would have been such an incredible experience.
Hey, he was supposed to be very good live.
Yeah.
Very good. Um, I mean, I think it was like a risk. He was either wasted or sober. It depended on the night kind of thing.
Depending on the night, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he's glorious.
Well, he struggled with drugs or alcohol for a
Yeah,
while,
he
I think.
messed it up after that. Like he like this was a hit and he was like, oh well, I can't handle this. So
Oh
just
my god.
went back to being a drunk and then
And then that was it.
yeah. Well, he made other albums
Well, he
like
made other
Warren
albums.
doesn't have a bad album. That's what makes him really cool.
Yeah. No, he doesn't really have a bad album. And it's a shame. He just because there's so many. Well, he died of I think died of cancer, but like for so many years of like poor health. I think actually like one of his last gigs was in like Edmonton or something.
Oh, crazy.
Yeah, like one of his last gigs was in Edmonton, or he passed away. But yeah, that's our Warren Zevon special. We should cover some other Warren Zevon albums. I know you have a whole playlist of songs.
Oh
There's
yeah,
a
it
lot
is.
of other really great songs.
Yeah, like his first. Well, it's not even his first album. His self-titled is really good.
Mhm,
It's like the one that sounds like LA completely.
mhm, mhm.
His live album's really good. His one album where it's just all about him aging and being like, I don't know, broken and messed up. And
Yeah.
then he has one. This was pre Bowie and Leonard Cohen. He wrote like he found out he was dying, and then he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna make an album." there's an album all about like his dad, like on his deathbed kind of thing.
Oh
He like
man,
actually recorded it on his like.
it's so incredible when we, like that's why I feel like we should cover the Leonard Cohen album one day, because it's like it's incredible. It's like you like Bowie did that too, or like eulogized himself basically.
Yeah.
It's incredible. All right, so I guess we'll leave it there. And I get where do we?
Your
I
final
give.
read.
I'm always giving like 8s, but I think 8 is a good one for me. You know,
I'm gonna
because
give
it's so
it.
short. You know, it's not very long, and
I'm gonna give it. Oh man, honestly, I'm gonna give it a 9.5. I'm biased. It's not a good song. But all the other songs I just love so much that I don't. It's almost like I don't care, and that almost never happens on an album. There's one one song that's not good. I'm like, okay, not a great album for me. I'm picky that way. But this one I don't care. I don't care. Like I can get through that song, and it's totally worth it.
Oh, for sure, man.
I can't give it a 10 because let's be real, it's not perfect.
It's not perfect. I was actually listening to the extras, the bonus tracks, and they weren't very
good. Bad. I need a truck. That is terrible.
I need a truck for my truck.
You need a truck. Okay, that's a little funny actually, but
It's kind of funny. Yeah. All right, so we'll leave you guys there, and leave us a comment and let us know what you guys think of this album. If you guys want us to cover that album, also leave us a comment below. Cheers.